When I know that there's someone in line queuing up for the bathroom next to me, after me, I always do the thing where the moment the shit comes out, I flush it straight away. Justin, we've been talking about double dates and things like that, and how important it is, especially remember how I was talking about if I was to find a partner, it's so important that vacant fourth position in the double date, I can genuinely see them being there and enjoy. Why are you laughing, huh? What's funny?
To Michael's future wife.
Yeah. To my future partner, just saying, a big criteria for me is if I can envision you in that fourth position. Unfortunately, that doesn't help you too much because you don't exactly know what it takes to be in that fourth position, nor do I.
We'll slowly line the contract out over the next couple of weeks. You just have to
stay
pick
tuned.
it up.
It's so important for them to be in that where they can genuinely be there. We can have good conversation, and the double date is not just because all couples with friends go on double dates and it's just a thing, but we genuinely look forward to spending time together as friends amongst the four of us. Mm-hmm. So here's a scenario. Here's a scenario for you, okay? Imagine I've now got a partner. I know it's hard to imagine. Just try your best.
It's not that hard.
Oh, okay.
You're a slut. Why is it?
What? And okay, so it's a classic hot pot dinner and board games, okay? And my partner, it's at my partner's house for the first time. Mm-hmm. We're having a really good time. Unfortunately, the meat was a little bit undercooked in the hot pot, which is hard to do, but let's just say
we eat beef. How can beef be undercooked?
You know what? Let's say we chuck in some pork dumplings in there.
Yeah.
All right, we undercook that.
Yeah.
And as we're playing code names and it's getting intense, so is your stomach getting a little bit intense and it's not feeling quite right. And so you're like, shit. And you
literally.
Yeah. And you head to the bathroom. You leave your phone there as well because you're desperate, okay? And you run to the bathroom. Shut that door, lock that shit up.
Oh, why?
It is just an explosive diarrhea. You go to the left. Expect some tissue. And the toilet roll's empty. What the fuck do you do?
I go to the right, expecting toilet paper, and that's also empty.
It's all empty. And you see some toilet rolls on the floor. You know that classic?
Yeah.
All the ammunition's gone. Fuck do you do?
I check under the sink. Okay, so I check everything, and let's say it's completely empty.
Yeah, it's out, man.
But there's always got to be a towel.
Oh no! Not my girlfriend's towel. Oh,
I just burn it out. I just bring it out, put it under the shirt.
The classic.
I just
fold your arms.
I left something in the car. I'll be right back. Just keep playing without me. I leave. I just throw out the toilet at the what do you call the towel? And then your girlfriend's like, "Hey, Michael, do you remember that pink towel that I used to have?"
Pink towel? No, I don't remember at all.
Never existed. That's probably what I don't know. Either that, because you specify I left my phone.
Yes, exactly. You cannot call your girlfriend for help, or me, or whoever you decide to call for help.
You know what? To be honest,
yep.
If it just depends. If we've already had dinner together, I'm kind of like a guy that opens up quickly. I just call out, "Hey yo, I need toilet paper in here." It'll be a funny situation we can talk about.
Yeah, right.
Until the smell hits when you open the door and kills everybody in there.
That's true because no one actually knows in this scenario that you had explosive diarrhea.
Well, yeah. Well, even if it is, I don't feel that embarrassed about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would be more embarrassed. I take a normal shit, and then when you finish up and you're leaving the bathroom and someone was waiting outside and you didn't know, so you didn't spray anything, and they come in and they just you hear that? That's so embarrassing. So much more embarrassing than not having toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. When I know that there's someone in line queuing up for the bathroom next to me, after me. I always do the thing where the moment the shit comes out, I flush it straight away. Dude, I'm telling you, best technique ever. Because the moment it goes, vroom, there's like a cave and a sink and boom, the poop is gone and the smell is gone with it. It is genius. Tell me that is not extremely smart.
That's really smart. But
Try it next time.
But you see what I mean? Like, that is just so embarrassing. I was going to say, like, oh yeah, I was going to continue on. Like, that happens. Like, let's say you don't do your special technique and then they smell it and you go out and you're just fucking dreading the moment they come out. You make eye contact. They give you the biggest dirty ever. And they don't say anything because obviously they're not going to say anything to like save your self-image. But you know that they know that you drop the worst stink in the world and they just always are going to remember that. And it's going to come up when you're drunk one day, like, bro, that was the first time we met. You dropped the worst stink in my bum. I threw up.
Oh, shit. Yeah, because I bring it up because, like, you mentioned that you hate taking a dump in other people's bathrooms.
So much.
Yeah. So I was just like, imagine a scenario where we take that to the extreme and you're literally explosive diarrhea with no toilet paper in the worst possible scenario.
You know, worst case scenario, though, if it's too embarrassing, I'll just take your girlfriend out. I'll just take her out.
How the hell does that solve the issue?
As in, I'll just kill her.
Oh,
I never have to see her again.
Oh, you'll kill her. Oh, I was like, take her out
Take
for
her
dinner.
out to dinner.
How does that solve the problem?
I just kill her. I'll just end it.
Oh, makes sense.
Just so I never have to see her again. Or I'll cause some shit between you two. So you guys break up.
Nah, all this reveals to me is we clearly need a better communication system. There's got to be some sort of Morse code. Yeah,
you're like, I need to go help my friend.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be like, you lift that toilet seat and you make noises. Bang, 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 bang. And I'm like, oh shit, he's in trouble.
That's embarrassing as well because it just makes me sound retarded in the toilet, dude.
It's like, what the fuck is your mate doing in my bathroom playing their fucking drums?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But then what happens, right? Because I obviously locked the door.
Yes,
When I got there.
Oh shit. Yeah.
So then how do you get in? I had to do that weird when my hands are around my ankles, like.
And you better hope it doesn't leak on the floor. That's nasty, dude. When I thought of this scenario, I was thinking. I actually didn't think of towels at all. That makes sense though. I think it's the cleanest way. It's a sacrifice of a towel. I think that is not a bad idea. I was thinking.
Jez, you hide your towels. every time you come over, you notice there are no towels in the bathroom.
Oh, I wonder why.
Do
they not shower? I was thinking like every toilet has a bin. So it's the plastic bag or some shit.
How does that help?
Look, I'll tell you, man.
You grab the poop? No, that doesn't help like that.
No. You put your pants back on, but the plastic bag is your layer of protection, so it doesn't f with all your actual wear, and then
disgusting.
you jet and run. You never come back.
You have to clean. You have to clean your ass.
It really depends if they have a shower in that bathroom.
They always will. Oh, actually, sometimes.
No. Your freaking one doesn't. Your freaking one doesn't. Yeah.
You can flush it and use that water. You can. Yeah. Okay, enough of this.
Anyway, enough. We get it. Okay, right. I see.
On a serious note. I wanted to talk to you, Michael. Okay. I actually wanted to ask you about personal ambition versus like ambition and how you see yourself like career-wise. And so that's ambition, what you want your life to look like in like, let's say 5 years, 10 years, if you thought about it, versus like maybe the type of person you want to be. Like, obviously the type of people we want to be are people that can joke about these embarrassing situations where, you know, the person sitting on the toilet feels like they can call out for help. Yeah. That's the type of person I want to be, you know?
Yeah.
The person that's on the toilet, feel free to call out if there's no toilet paper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That type of personal ambition.
Okay.
I think like I'd want to see where you're at because it's been a while since we've had the conversation. Yeah.
Okay. So the question, if I make sure I understand, is my ambition in general more related to work, career, and also personally ambition in terms of like how do I see the other aspects of my life develop and myself personally as how does my character?
I wanted to actually ask if you think those are different, like ambition versus personal ambition, if they're linked up for you. But let's start actually, a better starting point might be like, what is your ambition? Like, first of all, do you consider yourself an ambitious person? And if so, or if not, what are your ambitions nonetheless?
Okay, let's start there. I'm not an ambitious person. I think a lot of people, if they don't know me very well, and they look at maybe the things I do, or they talk to me at a very superficial level, they might actually think I am an ambitious person. Maybe, heck, my friends might even disagree and say, no, dude, you're actually ambitious. Maybe you're just jaded and think you're not, or too humble to admit you're ambitious. I genuinely think I am not an ambitious person. I think I am someone who has high expectations of the things I do, but that's different, in my opinion, to being ambitious. So I'll give you an example, okay? Let's take cycling as an example, because that's something I've been doing a lot lately. My personal perspective is I'm doing cycling, and I'm someone who, if I'm in a group ride and I notice that I'm not as strong as the others, then I would have a high expectation on myself to put in the work necessary to be strong enough to ride with the crew, because that gives me satisfaction. It gives me progress and joy in doing that. I think an ambitious person who does cycling might be, I want to be the best in the group, and I want to do competitions in 6 months' time, and I want to win competitions. And they suddenly have this whole roadmap of how they actually might progress in some level of professional way. I'm not like that. So I don't stretch that far. It's just whatever I am involved in, I want to do it well. So I have a high, like an A+ mentality in what I do. And what happens naturally is when you do take that mentality, it just happens that things get bigger and better. And then it looks like, oh man, this guy must have been so ambitious to be able to now have X in his life develop. But actually, it never came from a stance of ambition. I never necessarily wanted it that way, but just because I cared so much about what I was doing, it ended up getting there. But it wasn't actually necessarily my original intention. And like to admit as well, I wouldn't call myself anywhere like a visionary. You know how there are people out there who, when they start a business or even in their life, they seriously know where they want their business in 5 years' time, where they want their business in 10 years' time, how many offices, what kind of impacts they're making, what kind of revenue numbers, right? I honestly struggle so much with that. And I don't have those type of ambitions that much, to be honest. I am someone who I would say is a very solid second in charge type guy. Even though I run a business by myself right now, I know if there's someone, for example, who is more ambitious, more of a visionary, I am going to be able to work with them and make greatness. But I'm not that person that pushes and drives it. And it's just not in my nature, to be honest. That's how I think. I think I'm someone who actually thinks really small.
I think it's interesting because it's like your definition of ambition right now that you're kind of talking about is going to be more on the probably like the media, what media tells you ambition looks like. But I actually want to challenge that to one, let's get a formal definition of what you define as ambition is. I think that'd be good to start as well.
Yeah,
I'd like to continue on.
Yeah, okay.
But then continuing onwards, this is a scenario where I want to challenge you for why I think you are maybe weren't ambitious, but are slowly becoming more ambitious.
Okay,
Let's talk about your criteria for relationships now. I would say your high expectations for your next partner is being quite ambitious.
Okay.
You are now becoming more ambitious person by having higher expectations of those around you and then working yourself to becoming someone you're proud of to befit those criteria. Right. I think that is ambitious. You might not be ambitious. Let's not even talk about that. But I think that's like how I can challenge you a little bit on whether you are ambitious or not.
I see.
But let's talk about maybe your definition on ambition.
Here's how I take it. To me, when I hear of someone being ambitious, the way I like to think about it is they are committing and proclaiming privately or publicly of a goal that no one has certainty whether they can achieve. Does that make sense? It's actually a little bit beyond the current existing capabilities and it ventures into the territory of the unknown. That to me is ambition. Now for myself, a lot of the things I do, I set high expectations to the threshold of my own reality. So I know if I work hard, I can cycle well. I know if I work hard, I can be a strong rider within the group I'm in right now. So to me, that's not that ambitious. It just takes a lot of work and discipline and a standard of excellence to actually want to commit to that routine. Ambition is, I don't know if I would be able to actually win a local race ever, because there's so many variables there. But an ambitious take would be, I'm going to win it, and that's what I'm working towards. So to me, that type of statement and energy is venturing into a territory of, actually no one can be that certain, but an ambitious person still has their head held high with a level of almost deluded confidence in a way. It's kind of like, I'm going to make it into the NBA. Well, shit, man. No one really knows. The journey is long and uncertain. Ambitious people would still be okay accepting that, embracing that, and going for that. Think about the way I started kid education as an example. People might be like, damn, ambitious. You're so young, you don't know too much business, and you want to start your own center? Damn, dude. What if it doesn't go well and you lose all your money? And I'm like, actually, I was pretty confident. It was within my realm of reality based on my experiences that I know I'm probably going to be able to do decently well starting a tutoring center. Ambitious would be me saying, I want to be a tutoring center that scales to the level of some of the monopolies that exist. That's a lot of unknowns there. I have no idea if I can get there, but I have an idea I can be a decent local tutoring center. And so now when we think about your example of telling me about my higher expectations of people around me and what I want, the qualities I want in my partner if I was to date them and really build a genuine, intimate, long-term relationship with them. To me, that's nothing impossible. It's just a matter of being patient and time. Whereas, I don't know, ambitious would be by the end of this year, I need to do it. So then there's suddenly a framework which adds extra credit points to uncertainty. And that person has to be exactly like this, perhaps. So I guess that's what right now, and let's talk about that. Yeah, that's my definition of ambition and why I don't fall into my own definition.
I think then it becomes more the question of how does ambition, because we are obviously talking about ambition as something that is quite like a praiseworthy trait.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the way you have defined it actually does not play a part in high-performing individuals at all. I would say it actually, that definition of ambition that you have, probably most high-performing individuals don't have. Because I want to draw your attention to, you said that you are so sure that the standard for your relationship is within realms of possibility.
Yeah.
That's because you have a high-performing mindset. Whereas someone else would feel like that's impossible.
Right.
So you have the same level that you're attaining to, yet using your definition, that person, that hypothetical person is ambitious.
Yeah.
Whereas you're not ambitious.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so I actually think using your definition of ambition, it actually takes away the point a little bit of having this conversation of ambition. It changes now the framework of it is actually, is ambition something you want to have or not want to have? Because I came with the question, are you ambitious?
Yeah.
Assuming it was a positive trait to have. Because using my definition, it is quite positive. Because I would define you using my definition of ambition as someone that is ambitious, I would say.
And what's your definition then? How
I
would
would
you frame
say
it?
it's more along the lines of wanting something and then achieving it. It is desire. Ambition is desire.
Right.
That's at the end what it
Okay.
boils down to. Someone that desires something is ambitious. You desiring to reach a certain level, doesn't matter what the level is I consider someone ambitious.
Okay.
That, because I'm truly trying to define ambition as something that is a praiseworthy trait. There is no way to tell me that someone that has bigger ambitions is more praiseworthy. It is just by having the ambition that it is praiseworthy. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is. It can be something I deem as small, but I still find that praiseworthy nonetheless. You know?
Yep.
You saying, I don't think I want to race, but I want to be this
Yep.
is amazing to me. Like, and then you working towards that.
Yeah,
is really
yeah.
good. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I am approaching ambition quite differently, actually, to how you are.
Right.
So,
Listening to the way I describe ambition, where do you sit now with two possibilities? Is your version of it still more leaning towards your existing idea of ambition is irrespective of where really the end goal is? If you're someone who's hungry and desires, you are an ambitious person naturally.
I think
Within that definition.
I think your hearing you talk hasn't changed how I see it.
Okay.
Not because what you say is invalid.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just what do I want to achieve by defining someone as an ambitious person? You know? It's not about, it is just about this very easy to hit criteria
Okay, I see.
on whether someone hits this, you know, in this aspect of their lives. So that's what I want to achieve by using it. But and the way I would describe what you just described would probably be a little bit of foolhardiness, maybe a little bit delusion, maybe a little bit, it would be ambition geared too much.
Yeah.
You know?
I see.
So it depends on what you want to achieve. That's why I ask you, the question is now, what do you think in your lens is ambition a praiseworthy trait? That's something you want to work towards, like you believe you should have?
Yeah. I want to point out something that's interesting because I think my old, the way I used to see ambition is like, it's definitely a really positive trait. And I almost remember there were so many moments in high school where there were people around me who I didn't feel like were ambitious. And I literally tried to convince them to be more ambitious. I remember there's a particular person in high school where I asked them at the time, like, what do you want your future to look like? And she would say to me, like, I genuinely would be cool with a stable income and I want to be a housewife eventually. And at the time I was like, damn, like you're young. The world is your oyster. Why would you just want to do that? Now as and the way I looked at her at the time is, you're not an ambitious person. I am an ambitious person. More positive points my side, less positive points your side. I want to bring you to my side because I think being more ambitious gives you more joy. Now as I grow up, I don't think ambitious objectively is actually positive or negative. I think being ambitious just means that you could achieve things, really great, like really big things that perhaps someone who's completely non-ambitious will not ever be able to achieve. But doesn't necessarily mean that's a better thing. Let me give you an example. Let's say someone is really ambitious with sport and they want to go for the NBA and they make it. And let's say they make tons of money and they get to play professional sports. Does that mean that was a better outcome for that person? Who knows? So many factors. Do they know how to use their money well? Can they actually handle the pressures of constantly playing at a highest level? What if they have injuries along the way? And what if their whole identity is now around a single ambitious pursuit? And the moment something goes wrong, bam, they break. Is ambition in that case really good for them? I don't know. And let's think about the other person who actually got their stable income, financially feels secure, has a great family, and has so much joy in bringing up their children and being in a community of mothers. And to me, I honestly can't say which is better anymore.
But I would define both of them actually as ambitious people.
That's what you say. You're saying they're both ambitious because they both know what they want and they went ahead and did it. That's where I differ in terms of just pure definition. And based on my definition, therefore, one was more ambitious than the other, but one is not better than the other. One is not more good than the other. And so now it's like, it's really interesting because I think naturally, literally before this conversation, I thought ambition is objectively a good thing. But as I worked through my own thought processes and realized how I think, it's not. It's actually not. Yeah. That's where I'm sitting at the moment.
And I think I want to keep it as a good thing. Not no particular reason, but when I'm talking about Because I think what we often used to mistake ambition for was passion. We used to link those together. How would you describe someone living with conviction in a trait? And I'm trying to think about it. I'm trying to list it under, is it passion? Is it like, what is it? And I ultimately ended up on, it is ambition. Ambition is just desire to live your life in a certain way and then having the ability or the foresight to go and do it. That combination. And I think that is, to me, the best way to describe it in a way. And that's why I keep ambition, the definition, as I do now. Because I want to be able to tell people that is what ambition means to me. And I also kind of want to change the narrative for it, because I feel like a lot of young people hearing the word ambition put themselves down because it has been said, like all these media, work top 30 under 30. Think about how many ranking systems we have in our life where ambitious people are great. But who can say that they are generally living a better life than someone that, might not have been, it's not as glamorous, but they work so hard for it. They think about how hard it is to be in a relationship. A really good, solid relationship.
Lots of work.
So much work. Who can say that that is worse, like you said, So that's why I am being conscious of, and I think this is something that I always think that I'm more conscious of, like actual words.
Right.
Because I want to like influence the way I think. I think, I place a lot of importance to how we define things.
Okay.
I think compared. And I think I'm okay with other definitions, but I kind of just want to pick your brains on where exactly it lies on that line. Because then I want to ask you, you are not, let's say in your definition, not an ambitious person in terms of career. But how about personally? How does personal ambition fit into that? Because to give you an example, I might not I'm not very ambitious career-wise.
Okay.
I'm kind of okay with 6 figures, but I am not okay with who I am today. I want to be better every single day. In that 6 months' time, I'm like, the way I think about things, the way I approach things, the way I approach people, the way people can look up to me as role model. I think I am so ambitious in terms of personal life. Almost in your lines, like foolhardy. But that is my, I'm starting to realize very recently, that is what drives me, is that personal ambition. I want to be so great. As a dad, I am scared to have kids now. When I was so certain I want to have kids, the bar I'm setting myself is so high, I'm a bit scared now. Like that is in terms, I want to pick your brains on that. Because I think that, yes, can be linked to career. Like more money obviously means good person, right?
Yeah, clearly.
I mean, on the dating apps, it does.
True.
More money, like that's who's more attractive. But I think when you really think about people, the people I think are the most praiseworthy are actually those that have thought so much about their lives. I actually think the people in high school, I really envy, and not the people that are getting 6-figure salaries now. They're actually the people that I just think are so intellectual,
right?
That I think are so smart, or so grounded. Like I'm just thinking about, I can think of 3 people from high school, and I think if you thought about it, you'd list like similar-ish list. Like I think that's just so amazing, And I kind of want to ask you, like, how do you differentiate it in your life, if you do differentiate it at all, or if it just is, no, as I do my career, personal will follow.
Like, where do I sit right now with my personal ambitions as well? And is it different, or does it intrinsically link to my ambition in work and career? Because you said there is correlation there. I think it links a fair bit for me, only because of my context where I run my own business. So when I improve myself as a person in different ways, that could directly influence the business itself. But let's just decouple that a little bit, because I've got tons of things that I want to work on that has got nothing to do with my business. I think personal ambition for me right now and where it sits is really, really, really challenging. Really challenging. Because in the past, I think personal ambition became easier when we say things like, oh, I want to be more passionate in what I do. I want to be more caring in what I do. But I think I find it hard to know whether I'm being more of that. It's hard to know. And it becomes just words and things that I throw around to maybe even make myself feel better.
Yeah.
Like, it's not about it's not about like what you do, it's about who you you become. It's hard to measure a whole human being, right? We can't really just get a list and be like, compassionate, 6 out of 10. You know, like it's hard.
You say that, but I feel like people do that. You know? Like, actually, like on like tangent.
Yeah.
I think it's actually crazy how in our lives we rank people, like either subconsciously or consciously. It's just in our lives. Like, I'm thinking about, like, to go back to your basketball analogy, we are constantly ranking people in the NBA for their skill set, you know, and then we correlate that actually with how good of people they are. Like, he is so good at
Steph
basketball.
Curry can shoot 40% from the He must be a great dad as well. Also great Christian at church.
It has no correlation. But we make that correlation because we assume people that are great at their jobs are often great people. That's so not true. Yeah, like...
Yeah.
I have met so many people that are amazing workers that I think are like, you know, you give them side eye sometimes. You're like, kind of a shit person.
Yeah,
like, they'll
trashy
talk
people.
about like, I cheated on my ex and I do like crack cocaine, and you're like, how are you so good at your job? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're just
Well, that
like,
just shows you the disconnect.
Yeah,
There is so little correlation there. So I guess it's really challenging because I don't even know almost what to be ambitious for. I guess one thing I at least in recent times is I want to be more self-aware and then honest about that self-awareness to the people around me. So, for example, in recent times, I've just discovered more about myself that, like, of who I am, like who I really am in terms of like how I actually think and respond in certain scenarios, and being able to be like, oh wow, that's actually who you are. And then being able to share that with my close friends, and then they can help me work on those together collectively. One example is I used to think I'm not an emotional person. I used to think I was so rational.
yeah.
And then when I actually listen to my thoughts in different scenarios and different contexts, holy crap, I am emotional.
I think we could tell you're emotional. Every month there's like a different part that you're working on based on how the emotions
dude,
are, yeah.
seriously. So ups and down. Like, one day I can be so happy and so passionate about everything in my life. Next day it's so grim. And I used to think, oh, everything has a logic in my life and I can just follow that line of rationale. Man, I am so emotional.
Humans are so emotional. I think it's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's like me actually labeling myself an emotional, whereas I would never have used to done that, like have labeled that before. And so I guess one level of self-ambition for me personally, it's like, I want to be someone that as I grow up, I truly, really know myself well. And then I can understand the best parts of myself to service the people around me. For example, or like improve things that I know need work. I am so selfish.
Cap.
See, I know myself, and I know I am actually so selfish to the point where I start to question, is there anything that I do that doesn't have a freaking personal agenda tied to it in some form or another? Let me give you an example. For example, literally today morning, didn't sleep much, went home late, and I committed to a cycling workout. Okay. And I woke up at 5 or 6 or 5:45 or something, and I'm in my bed. I'm thinking, oh, I'm so tired right now. I just want to go to sleep. And then I'm like, no, I actually committed to this, and it's just so bad to just say I don't want to rock up last minute. Normally, in the past, if I wasn't self-aware, I would frame it as I committed and I said yes. So I'm a man of my words. That's not the real reason. The real reason is because I had something due for work later the evening, and I knew that if I could wake up and do this cycling workout, I'll be awake and I'll have more hours to get my work done so that I can be less anxious and stressed about my work in the evening. It's got nothing about man of my words, because if I didn't feel like I needed to do, if I didn't actually have a deadline due, guess what I'm doing? I'm going back to sleep, man. And so once I really dig and really think about what I do and the decisions I make, and I can start seeing again and again that there are things that I just have a personal agenda with, even though it's not an agenda where it hurts other people. I'm not saying that. But I just can start to see all of this. I'm like, man, you're kind of disgusting, dude. You're kind of disgusting. And I just, and so I don't know. For me, it's like really being in this time where I'm actually alone a lot, right? At work, alone. Not in a relationship. And so I actually get a lot of time to dig internally and really see who I am for who I am. And I think I've appreciated that a lot, even to the point where admitting that I am such an insecure person that I have to think about how I can act well when I meet someone new. The entire time. I'm like, holy crap. I'm not even confident in who I am that I need to be so conscious of every little move, everything I say, because as a new person, and now I'm open for judgment. Wow. Damn, that's who you are, Michael. That's who you are. And I'm okay. That's all right. At least I now know. And at least I can say it out loud, and I can work on it. So in terms of personal ambition, I don't know it's who I'm going to become. Obviously, there's the characteristics of I want to be more selfless, be more honest, be more compassionate, be more humble, down to earth. All of that will come, I think, eventually, if it first starts with the personal ambition of being critically honest and open and accepting of who I truly am. So that's kind of one of the things that I've been working on recently and lately, and that I hope to continue to do. Because I think actually when you think about why is it that you can talk to someone and you think, damn, they're so mature, is because they know themselves so well. And when there's someone who's less developed in that journey, they can actually help shine light on things that you can't see. And the only reason they can do that is because they've done that themselves. And so I want to be that person. I want to be one day someone who talks to me and I can actually help them work through what they're going, like what's happening in their life. And without having a high level of self-reflection, I don't think I can actually do that for other people. Yeah. And then, there's obviously personal ambition with, I would love to, I used to be on the fence about wanting kids. I think I definitely want kids. Like I'm pretty certain about it. And I think like thinking about it makes me really happy, for example. Even if they take all my money.
Hold up, cowboy. You need to get a girlfriend. So Michael's future wife, he wants 3 kids.
Yeah, I'm like 74 steps ahead of my time.
But that's why it's ambition. It's a desire.
Yeah, I see.
I actually want to, like, if I'm thinking about how to approach the conversation we just had, there are a couple of lenses that I could approach with. I could approach as if I was your therapist. The way I would do it is I would approach your definition as selfish.
My definition of?
Or what selfish is. And whether selfish is a bad or good thing. Because I can sense a lot of, yes, you say that it is okay to be like this because you've acknowledged it. But I actually think once you realize being selfish is an inherent human thing again, like being emotional, everyone is selfish. It just matters. You actually need to change the frame to be, what am I? Am I confrontational? Am I like a giver or taker? Those are more important definers of yourself than being selfish or selfless.
Right.
There's no one that is truly, truly selfless.
Yep.
There is always going to be a reason you do something that is for yourself, even if it is for other people.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about. You already know that. The classic, yeah.
I volunteer or something.
Exactly.
Why do you volunteer? Yes, it is like a byproduct is helping other people, but the core is actually you feel good about volunteering. Exactly. And but that's okay. Like they can coexist, in a
So I want you, like, if I was your therapist, I would walk you through that journey, even though you know it. I would actually walk you through it and provide you what are other traits to value yourself on that are actually, yes, they are tangibly good, tangibly bad, rather than selfish bad, selfless good. That's how I'd approach it. As a friend, how I would approach it is just be like, yes, you are thinking so much and I'm here for you. Yeah. And I want you to continue thinking and reach the end goal. And, no matter what you become or where you choose this to be, I'm still here as your best friend. You know, so I was just thinking that's so interesting.
The different
The different lenses that you have.
can
Because I just
respond.
know with my journey with therapy that not just because you approach it with a therapist lens, it's not going to be better. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas if I approach it as a friend, it can be all the difference in just having the security that no decision is a bad decision that you make. Because at
That
the end
you're
of the
by
day,
my
how
side.
can I say that is bad? You know, just you have someone to support. Yeah.
What about yourself? Like, I know you literally mentioning earlier today how you're thinking a lot lately, and especially about defining, like, what does it even mean to be an admirable person? What does it mean to be a good person, ambitious person? Is that something you're fighting with a lot lately? Are you starting to build a clearer character of yourself in the future? And what does that look like if you are?
Before I talk about that, I actually wanted to talk about this.
Yeah.
You know how they talk about how you're not fully developed at 18? I actually think that's so true. Doesn't it feel like recently, like the fog has lifted from my brain on certain, like your brain on certain topics?
Right.
Where you're like, actually, I can think so clearly about this, where before I thought this, but actually, what the heck? That's crazy. You know, it's like fog is lifted almost, where it now becomes clear. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like that's really interesting because I always thought, it was just a matter of because of certain experiences. Now I can think like that, but it's also like in the back end.
Yeah.
In the back end, like front end is experiences,
Yeah.
and then in the back end, the software's updating itself. Every now we go to sleep, it's like plus 0.11 IQ,
Something like
or
that.
EQ.
It feels like that though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
like, I'm just
yeah.
like, one day there was literally like a huge software update, and you wake up and you just like,
Whoa.
yeah, and then and I think a good case is like you look to the things in your life that you're grateful for. I think that's like a really big thing. Like as a joke, you wake up, you turn to your right, you see your girlfriend, you're like, damn, I'm lucky. You know, just and
Why is this a joke? Is this not real? Do you not do that?
No, I'm
Watch
just saying,
yourself
like,
right now.
more casually, just as an analogy, you might look over to people or even to your parents and be like, I am so grateful for the things you've done in my life, or I'm so grateful for you being in my life. And that's kind of like, those are like little software updates when you have those random bursts of gratefulness, I think, that you can notice.
100%.
In terms of like the struggle for myself and personal ambition, like I said, I consider myself quite ambitious. Maybe the struggle is more, we split up ambition into desire and then actualization.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think everyone has a little bit of both, and it's about managing both of those, and to a certain degree, to your own capacity and knowing your own limits. And I think at this moment, the struggle that I'm having right now is I know my capacity, or I think I know my capacity, and I feel like I'm not operating anywhere close to that maximum capacity.
Okay.
And it causes quite like maybe sadness or a depression or a depressed state that I feel like I'm not, because there are other desires in my life that pull away. My desire to laze around, my desire to spend time with my girlfriend, my desire to, you know, play games, or my desire to get close to friends. There are so many desires in my life that it is quite hard to figure out where and how much I want to allocate. And working through that, yes, difficult, often paralyzing, but at the very end of it, I feel like it is quite rewarding. So it's working through that journey right now. I'd probably be about 50% of the way right now in the development. But, you know, I've got this, I think the biggest change I might have is maybe confidence. I would say I'm becoming so much more self-confident in myself. Maybe because I have a great girlfriend that takes care of me so well. I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know what that feels like,
If
dude.
she cares
Far
about me
out.
this much, surely I'm a good person. Unless she's an idiot.
Or she's a really good person and like to deal with trash. Like,
Yo, relax. Relax, okay? But you know what? Like, it's just kind of those things in your life that are like kind of eye-opening. And like your friend group, you realize, and I think I've had this realization like maybe every year. It's an annual realization every year since 18.
Okay.
Probably, where I'm like, damn, my friends are great. Not good, great. You know, it doesn't matter how they've changed. It doesn't matter like who they've become. The people I have surrounded myself have always been great. Not a testament to my own ability, but the luck and like more testimony to the people around me that I've had luck to be with. I think, so when people ask me, oh, are you a privileged person? Irregardless of my upbringing, my background, my situation with family, I consider myself privileged because I had the luck to be with amazing people that I've been like, you know what, you're an all right person, I'll stay with you.
Yeah.
And by them doing that, bringing me up. And I think that's where I'm very privileged. Yeah. I think it's something that I've do every year, but it's slowly solidified itself in my mind.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, man, I'm so lucky. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I think two types of people. One type of person would be like, man, I'm such a beast that I can surround myself with these type of people. I have this amazing girlfriend. But for me, I'm just always left in awe because it's never you, I think.
Okay.
Really, it's not on you. Like, you can do your best ability, but it's a 50-50.
Yeah.
That 50% is so amazing to me once I realize how much power people have. Like, yeah. Even in the relo, it's such a 50-50 thing, no matter how you see it. Like, you can think, oh, I do so much for this relo, but it's a 50-50 thing oftentimes, like a great relo.
Yeah.
So it's just like...
There are a few things like to touch on there. I think like number one, when you first started talking about your personal ambition and saying you realize there's like distinction, which is we almost base ambition on number one, do you have strong desires to achieve? And then number two, can you achieve it? So that's kind of like one thing that we can discuss and think about yourself. Because I think I've never I think you and I both know you've always had such strong desires to achieve things 100%. There's no doubt with that. And then it's like, oh, does the ambition in the definition have to mean you will have achieved it? I don't think so. Like, what the heck? Someone who wanted to work really hard for a certain goal and didn't achieve it does not make them not an ambitious person.
But that is a key difference between being an admirable, ambitious person and like a not so admirable, I think. At least personally.
Okay, I say I think there's another way to look at it. Because how can you possibly just say that the outcome is therefore make you admirable or not? That's too black and white. Because you can have someone who puts in so much hard work and on the day that it matters, they just couldn't perform. But they're working harder than anyone else. There are people that are here where they're doing basketball training and their hand, like it's got a condition and it's got like, it's like eczema, but it's not like that. It's some other condition. And every time they bounce that bloody basketball, it hurts. And yet they are training hard every day. I don't know if they're going to make it, but I don't care anymore. I see the process. And to me, that is admirable ambition, whether you make it there or not.
I definitely agree, yeah.
Because the outcome is so hard to determine, man.
I agree. It's just like, as long as you can see the process.
Yeah, I think so.
As friends and us as insiders can see.
Yes.
That's an admirable person.
Yes.
But I'm talking about on the outside, the external, the people looking in. Like, I'm not saying me not achieving the outcome is not admirable to my friends and family.
Yeah.
I expect them to see it. Like, I want them to look in between the lines for me. Or either if they don't see it, I want them to call me out as it happens, not at the end.
Yeah.
I hate that. Calling me out at the end instead of either looking for it or calling me out as it happens, you know?
Yeah.
I just dislike that a lot. But I'm talking about when we're thinking about ambition, like it's kind of like no one remembers why you're a gold medalist. I think this is something like a basketball player said. I don't know if you know him. He's called Brian Scalabrine. He's called the White Mamba as a joke.
Okay.
Yeah. He won a championship with the Celtics. He did not play a single minute.
Oh, okay.
And he had a press conference, all right? And in the press conference, a reporter was like, how do you feel about winning this championship without
playing a single minute?
And he's like, who fucking cares? 10 years time, I'm butchering the quote. 10 years time, I'm going to say that I started. 20 years time, I'm going to say I'm finals MVP. So you see, as time goes on, you forget about these smaller things. You only remember the outcome. And I know it is a little bit pessimistic to believe that outcome matters so much. But I believe at the end of the day, outcome does matter so much. Just like, let's take the Olympics. A lot of people are saying it is rigged. But you're saying, why does it matter? Everyone can see you're a better skater. But the reason why it matters so much, if it is rigged or not, is 10 years down the line, no one is going to remember
that process
the
of
process
who's working
that it was
harder.
rigged, who got in, who didn't.
Yep.
That legacy is now like solidified.
Yeah.
And that is such I guess this is kind of where people watching the podcast might be a little confused. Like, he's talking about all these things that are like so process based. So like, yes, they are admirable in the broader sense of things without like spectators looking in. And then now he's talking about how outcome matters. Like, because that's such a, let's say, like, I would say it doesn't really fit in with the rest of my argument.
Okay.
But it's kind of the way I then balance reality with theory. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's where I am at. I agree. Process matters so much more than outcome.
Yep.
Because you can be lucky and get into stuff.
Amount of times I shot a 3 in game.
And you made it.
Unbelievable.
Too many times.
Too many times.
You
No
had a better
process.
percentage than I did, and I think I'm better shooter.
No process or luck, baby.
But then you act swish.
Yeah.
You walk down. Yeah, baby. That's me.
Yeah, you
That's
own it.
me.
You own it. I don't know how it went, but I'm gonna take this moment.
I actually wanted to bank it. It swished.
No, dude, seriously, the amount of times I actually did that,
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly.
And you just don't talk about it. Yeah.
But no one remembers. Everyone just remembers, damn, that Michael kid actually made a lot of 3-pointers.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So it's like interesting. I think. Oh no, sorry. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, maybe like the last thing I wanted to mention here. You also said a little bit about how right now you have a lot of strong desires to do well in a lot of things, and you're kind of split and torn between what you should prioritize and how you can invest time adequately into all of these different things. Relationship, friends and family, your work, personal health, what all of those things. Are you getting any closer to getting an answer, or is it right now you're really quite torn and it's like in the works and it's a blank canvas, and you're kind of just trying to paint and see what's going on?
I'm torn, but I don't want it to be. I don't want it to lead to my paralysis.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
have
yeah,
just started stuff, and I'll figure it out as I go.
Yep.
I have decided to just. And I think this is really because of my relationship. I think if I was single, I wouldn't be pushing for uni at this point in time. I would be trying to figure out myself more, giving myself more time.
Okay.
But like, even though personally I believe that it is not bad to have that time, and I don't feel bad personally having taken this time to figure myself out, I understand that my partner is a very different person to who I am. Like, and always will be, not like the person I'm with, but
In general. 'Cause
partners
two
are
different people.
You are
Yeah.
two unique people
Yeah.
with two different desires,
Yeah.
like very different desires. So for me, my love, my self-sacrifice is saying, fuck giving myself more time. Fuck me trying to find the perfect thing. Let me just find a thing to do while we progress us.
Yeah.
Us. Because I feel like my progression has stopped our progression.
Yep.
And I don't want that to be the case.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Of course.
So that's where I'm at this point in time. And I'm completely okay with that. You know, I've made the decision to live with it and commit to it.
Yeah.
Like, I think something I tell you is like, it takes me a long time to commit to something. But once I commit to it, I'm going to commit to it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, there is literally not many things in my life I've committed to. And that is...
Yeah, but of the ones that do make it into your list of commitments, like, they really do stand the test of time and your dedication and loyalty to that person or thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, or pursuit.
So that's where I'm at this point. I think... And let's end it with this.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, because I feel like that is not selfless, not selfish, but do you think your definition of selfless or selfish would then hinder that, because I think we have very similar definitions of love, like self-sacrifice choice.
Yeah.
Do you think the way you are now, because you define yourself as very selfish, will then impact how you interact with your partner later on in the line, down the line?
I think maybe not. Like, I'm just acknowledging that I'm selfish, but maybe it's not a bad thing. Again, it's just an extra label that I'm okay taking on.
Like emotional.
Yeah, but being emotional maybe objectively is not good or bad. Okay. So for me, I think like it's just realizing, for example, and being really honest that when I have a partner, the selfish intent is I might think stuff like she might be happier with someone else, but I like her so much that I want her with me. And that is selfish, because if you really love that person and you just want them to be happy and it's got nothing to do with you, you know all those things where there's a mad breakup because of really like terrible situations, yet those people still want to get back into a relationship. That is such a selfish pursuit, and yet they don't think it's selfish. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like, what in the right mind do you think that person went all the way to breaking up with you, and you think suddenly you can provide the better life for them when you see they're literally happier having broken up?
So
and
you're
yet you're
saying
still scrambling.
If Jezreel breaks up with me, you're not going to be holding the boombox next to me as I'm singing, "Take me back." You're not going to be there. Take it back.
No, I will. My brother, you bet I will. I'll bring a whole band for you. I'll also bring another group of friends and drag her back. But I would also say you're selfish.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do you know what I mean?
agree.
And so I don't think it would affect, but I'm just more honest that, yeah, freaking selfish. But hopefully in my selfishness, I can provide as much selflessness to other people, as much good to other people. And so it's like, oh, damn, you are such a caring person for your partner. You do X and Y and Z. Sometimes I acknowledge me in my selfishness. It's just because I want her to think I'm a good boyfriend. You know what I mean? When I call her in the future, let's say it's a rainy day, and I'm like, are you okay? Is it because I'm so worried for her? Or is it because I know I'll get slack if the weather's really bad and I'm not even thinking about her? So I give her that call. I don't know. I got to suss it out. But I'm just okay knowing that there are good things that I do that stem from a strong sense of selfishness. But long answer short, would it affect? I don't think so, because the reality is probably always been like that. I just didn't acknowledge it. Do I want to change it? Takes time to figure out. Probably. There are parts where I genuinely want to have less of me in that equation. So the equation is always going to have me. So me plus others equals some sort of outcome, okay? And maybe I want the me to be maybe instead of right now a 30%, maybe I want it to be a 20% or not. Because maybe when I push it too low, then I don't take care of myself enough. And that's another issue, right? It's like the self-care. So yeah, hard to answer, but based on precedents, probably not. It won't affect it too much.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Let's end on that.
Yeah.
If you watched the whole thing, very thankful. I know a couple people that I promised to watch everything. I'm looking out. I see you.
Shout out to you guys.
Shout out. If you are hearing this, why don't you just comment something down below? Let's just hear. I kind of want to see who is listening, and if you got anything to say about your own ambition, your own personal ambition. If you're watching on YouTube, if you are, just know that we're also on Spotify as well.
Yes.
So you can always catch us on Spotify on socks.on.podcast.aus as well.
Yeah.
But really happy to chat. Happy to chat to Michael. Hate the guy, but he has good chats.
Oh well. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you next podcast.